Welcome into the Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Recap Show presented by Soaring Eagle. I'm Danny Rogers, and 7 lives changed over the weekend when they heard their names called by the Detroit Lions. The man doing all the drafting in the Motor City is General Manager Brad Holmes, and we're kicking off the show with him today.
You preached patience right off the bat with this draft, and we saw in round 1 you waited, stayed put at number 28, and you got OSU defensive lineman Tyleik Williams. Take us back through that phone call.
Tyleik, it's Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes, GM of Detroit Lions. You ready to be a Lion? All right, man. All right, man. You're going to help us out in the middle of our defense, all right? All right, man. We're fired up, man. We're going to turn the card in today, man, all right? Congratulations. Enjoy it with your family, all right?
Tyleik, congratulations. Listen, from this point on, you make up your mind what you want to do. You know what I mean? We're drafting you for a reason, so come in here and compete, man, and help us.
Well, everyone here is very excited. Yeah,
Got a big boy.
they're all cheering away at it. It's great. So, we're looking forward to getting you here. Well, you take care. We'll see you probably tomorrow. Be great. Okay, take care. Bye.
It's funny, we've had so many conversations about how many similarities he has to Aleem McNeil. And I never forget when I made the phone call to Aleem McNeil in 2021, are you ready to be a Lion? Sure, yeah. Fired up? Yeah. When Aleem McNeil got rewarded his contract, hey, congratulations. Thanks for believing in me. It's the same exact tone. And so it was eerily similar to when I was able to talk to Tyleik, and he probably had a little bit more energy, but I think that's one of the cool things about him is that he's just kind of a very even keel, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, and it was just a very much like, you heard a little bit of noise in the background. Initially, I told him and his family that the other day, and I think someone just kind of told everybody quiet down, but yeah, it was great. He said he was fired up, ready to go.
Tyleik, you said, is very intelligent.
Yes.
What moment in the pre-draft process just stuck out to you and really told you that he's got a high IQ when it comes to football?
Yeah, well, our scouts have done a lot of work in terms of being at the school, boots on the ground, talking to the coaches. So it starts there, but it's different when you can actually, have the kid actually tell you what he's doing and what those responsibilities are. From a team standpoint, it started at the combine. Obviously, we already had the information from the scouts, but at the combine in his formal interview, he knocked it out the park, and it was impressive. We kept following up because of our interest level in him, and then brought him in again, and then he just kept knocking it out the park. His intelligence and his instincts are, I think, at an elite level.
Round 2, you kicked off a common theme in this draft with a Georgia Bulldog, with right guard Tate Ratledge. He was voted as a team captain by his Georgia teammates. He's coming into an extremely talented O-line room. How does he possibly find his own way in there?
Yeah, I think he's going to fit right in. Tate, as you guys are going to find out, as you all will all find out, he's got a big personality. He's got the mullet and the stash and the whole thing. He's an O-lineman through and through. He's got the toughness, played all of the year before in 23, was playing great football up until when he got his injury, got that fixed, and then came back and toughed it out and finished the season out. That kind of toughness and grit, that fits right in here. All the offensive linemen, they have different personalities, but there's just something about the O-line room that's just a rite of passage in there that you just gotta have, and I think he's gonna be able to fit right in.
Yeah, Tate told us he's been growing that mullet for 5 years, so I don't think it's going anywhere just yet.
Not surprised, not surprised.
Round 3, you traded up 32 spots to go get a wide receiver out of Arkansas, Isaac Tesla. He started off at D2 Hillsdale. Coolest thing ever, he's a Michigan native, and you said when he showed up here to his visit, he had a custom Lions jersey with his last name on the back. What went through your mind when you saw that?
I swear, the very first time, because you see the kids in the hallways, and some of them, first of all, what's hard on them when they start going on these visits, they're doing a lot of travel, And it's hard because they have rookie mini camps coming up right after the draft, so they have to stay in shape. So some of the kids, they have like workout attire on because they just got done working out that morning, and then they had to, come from the hotel to the facility and all that stuff. And some of them, are dressed a little more casual and all that. So, but I noticed him, and I just like, I know that's him. I seen his face. I was like, why does he have that Lions jersey on? And he had number 10, and I just saw it from the front, and I was like, why does he have the 10 on? And so I'm going to my head, and then he finally, he came in to Dan's office, and then, he was going to sit down. I saw he had his name on the back. And I initially thought, I was like, that's I don't want to say cheesy, but I said, look, you didn't have to do that. Like, I get it. You're Michigan. You're like, you grew up with it. You didn't have to do that. But his reasoning for it was the most authentic and, very understandable reason of why he did it. Because he said he's had it, I believe he said, since the 8th grade. And he just said, what better time to wear it than now? And I was like, I can totally respect that. I probably would have did the same exact thing. So I thought that was the coolest part. And he was so relaxed and comfortable in our meetings and just walking through the facility. And when I made the call to him, I don't think I'm not sure if he was really processing it very well, because he was just like, he was almost at a loss of words. And those are the coolest moments, because those are, it only comes around once. We had Isaac just at a certain grade level that, we didn't feel comfortable if we did not go up there and get him. We're going to be looking at a completely different level of player if we stayed there down at, I think, at 102. So it just one of those things that lined up, that not only did we love the player, but it just so happened that, in our opinion, that's kind of when it started to change levels at the board.
No draft picks in round 4. You move to round 5.
Yep.
You trade up again. You go up and get guard Miles Frazier out of LSU. He only allowed 4 sacks in 3 seasons for a very iconic O-line room down there at LSU. How did he slip through the cracks to you guys in the 5th round?
I have no idea, because I know that we had him around earlier, and that's the reason why we packaged up to go and get him. That's another one. We just didn't want to stay patient. And again, another one that we had a lot of love for him. It's just, he's one of those ones that grew on us as the process went along. So played a lot of football, and he's tough, he's big, he's physical. He's another one. He is very instinctive in terms of his pass protection, picking up stunts in games and all that. So he just kept growing us in the process, and we were shocked that he made it. Like, even when we got him, like, we just kept looking at the board of like, I can't believe we got him there. So yeah, we're fired up about him.
Moving on to the 6th round, number 196. I think you picked possibly the fan favorite with the edge of the draft. Emphasis on the edge, Ahmed Hassanian from Boise State. His story is incredible. He's the first Egyptian ever drafted in the NFL. Didn't know what the NFL was until he was watching Aaron Donald play at 16 years old. What was your reaction when you heard his story?
I didn't really realize that he was going to be the first Egyptian to be drafted to the NFL till when we got to around the combine. Again, he's just another one that, as much of, I don't want to call rawness, but new to the game of football, he plays 100 miles per hour. He's got his hair on fire. Just his style of play is going to fit right in here.
Rounding out this draft, some more Georgia Bulldogs, 2 of them. We've got 3 in total.
I don't know what's going on.
You love the Georgia Bulldogs.
What's going on.
Safety Dan Jackson, number 230, and then wide receiver Dominic Lovett at number 244. Going back to Jackson, he never earned a scholarship at Georgia, even though he was a starting safety for Kirby Smart at one point. And then Lovett led the Bulldogs with 59 receptions last season and in receiving touchdowns. What did you get at the latter part of that draft?
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time I saw Dan Jackson. I didn't really know all that much about him. He turned the tape on, and he's got some very big hits, from back deep in the post. He's very heady. He's very instinctive. Was able to see him down at the Senior Bowl. He's got the ability to contribute on special teams. So he's another one, like I said about Miles Frazier. Frazier's that the more and more and more you watch him, the more and more you appreciate him. And the more you watch him, the more you understood why he's running the show, in the back end for Kirby Smart's defense. He was one of those cool ascensions for us in the process. And, and then Dominic Lovett, he's another one. Obviously started off at Missouri and hit the portal, went to Georgia, but guy that can do a lot of different things, play the slot. He's got a good urgency about him. He's got the ball in his hands, and we really love his upside on special teams as well.
Including the 3 Georgia Bulldogs, there are 4 national champions who will call Detroit home, and that includes the first-rounder Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. Shortly after he heard his name called by the Lions, he and his family took a very short trip to the Motor City, and here's how it went.
Welcome to Detroit. I'm just here. That's crazy. Like, not even too long ago. Feel good. Like, I can't put it into words yet, but definitely like a great feeling for sure. Just happy. I'm blessed. Just ready to start for real.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. What's up, Coach?
How are you?
Doing good.
brother.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Y'all hurt my feelings. That's good, bro. Nice to meet you, Tyleik.
I told you, didn't I?
Sir, you did.
You did. I told you.
Yeah. For me, it's just been a mix of emotions, from crying to, being happy and, just spending the time with my family for real. It's just been a great feeling. No, appreciate it.
Nice to have you. As soon as we drafted you, I was like, oh, you got a monster.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. Happy to have you.
Appreciate it. Getting drafted, I'm just happy. And just helping the team out in any way I can is really my biggest thing I want to achieve. For real. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Congratulations, buddy.
Nice to meet you.
What's up, man?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
What's going on? Nice to meet you.
Congrats, bro.
Appreciate it.
Congrats, bro.
Congrats,
man. Happy to have you, man.
Yes, sir.
Happy to have you.
Coach Shep, he's just met him and I already love him. He's a high energy guy. He sells to me how much he loves my game and how I play and how I can help the team. And you need a guy like that in your corner.
How are you,
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Welcome. Congrats.
Thank you.
National champion.
Thank you so much.
What's going on, big man?
What's going on, Coach? Yes, sir. Hey, hello. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm just happy I'm here. Great opportunity to go help a team, and as soon as you get here, I think you gotta hit the ground running. Having that mindset will put me in the right place.
Detroit Lions defensive back Terrion Arnold had the honors of announcing Detroit's 3rd-round pick in wide receiver Isaac Tesla. Before the draft kicked off, though, Terrion went undercover in the streets of Green Bay to test random NFL fans on their draft knowledge and also see if they recall who Detroit drafted in the 1st round last year.
This is TATV, Raw and Uncut, and we're here at the NFL Draft with, based on the way they're dressed, 2 diehard Packers
Acme
fans.
Packers.
Diehard Vikings fan?
Diehard Vikes fan from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Is this the first draft that y'all came to?
No.
Well, we've been going to drafts now for the last like 8 years.
So y'all were at the draft last year?
Yes,
Detroit
we're in
draft.
Detroit.
Okay.
We're in Detroit. We're in Detroit.
Who are you hoping that y'all select?
I hope you take Ashton Genty. I mean, I'll do O-line, I'll do defensive line.
Running back.
Ashton Genty.
Well, everybody always says they want us to take a wide receiver with a 1st-round pick. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
But are you gonna go crazy when they draft the player, though?
We're going to have fun, yeah.
It'll be fun, especially if they draft a quarterback.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Who is the best team in y'all division?
Oh, I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. It is the Lions. It is the Lions.
Okay. So who would you say is y'all's division rival?
I mean, it used to be Bears, but since we've kind of owned them over the last 10 years or so, obviously Detroit. They've stepped up. Detroit's been huge, man. They've been great. They've come around, and that's good for Detroit. I mean, you like to see other teams get up and be good.
Did you see our free agency moves? 2 defensive linemen, 2 offensive linemen.
I don't watch football.
You should watch the Vikes.
I watch the Lions when I do watch football.
Oh my God, you're not watching the
I
Lions.
did watch that game when y'all played them week 18 though.
Yeah, that wasn't a very good game. We laid an egg.
So I'm a Detroit native, so like I I'm a Lions fan. What do you think about the game last year when they played y'all?
Oh, that was terrible. I don't even want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
That was disgusting.
When Detroit came and played y'all here last year, what did you think about that game?
Oh, it was great.
Okay. Are you sure you're a Packers fan?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about when they play against each other?
Well, it hasn't been doing great recently.
Do you go to any of the games?
I went to the game in Lambeau last year.
What did you think about that game?
It was a great-ass game.
So it's fair to say that the Lions are better than the Packers?
I wouldn't say better. I think we've got two really good teams, and on any Sunday, anybody can win.
But it's my show, though. Just say the Lions are better than the Packers. Just say it.
Okay, so the Lions are better than the Packers.
Yes!
When you guys pick today?
We pick 28th.
Who are you looking at?
I mean, I just told you I don't watch football, so I don't really know. But
You know you pick 28th, but you don't watch football.
Yes, because it comes across my TV all the time, so I can't help but see it.
I got it.
Since we're on Detroit, that's my team. I'm here, man. This is a Detroit-based TV show, man. Like that's my team. When Detroit played against y'all, what did you think about that game right there?
Why are you bringing up old stuff? Why are we going to next question?
Because look, it was a play in the game that really just kind of caught my eye. Do you remember at the beginning of the game, Jawan Jennings and the cornerback from Detroit?
Well, so what had happened was it was a good football play by Jennings, and then afterwards, your boy got mad.
He got mad?
He got mad and started pushing us.
Oh, my God.
And then Jennings is known to block you. You block to
And
the
what
whistle.
happened the next week after
You
that?
block to the
Jennings
whistle.
got ejected for a non-football play.
So it's bully ball. It's
So
bully
you
ball.
think Jennings bullied Arnold on that play?
Say it again?
So if Arnold was here right now, you would say that you got bullied?
So that was one of those Mike Tyson moments.
Get out of bed somewhere, guys. Be careful.
We coming back now. We had an off year.
But we don't play y'all this year.
If you make it to the playoffs, you'll
If
playoffs.
y'all make it to the
we
playoffs,
finna be there.
Oh, you think
we
so?
finna be there.
But,
we finna get healthy.
Okay.
We finna be there.
Give the mic to him. Give the mic to him. Give the
finna be
mic to
there.
him. Do you think that this draft is going to top that Detroit draft?
I don't think so.
It won't even be close. I don't think y'all have the population number. But what about the fans? I'm just talking about the energy.
was
You
all
know
right.
They say it was a
It was
draft
all right.
record. It was the most people ever.
It was, and I bet you they break one this year.
Oh, wow. Last year at the draft, the NFL draft, what did you guys think about that draft?
It was awesome. It was a great draft.
Do you know who we selected?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
Aaron Arnold. These guys know their history. Come on.
They're really good at the draft, so obviously their results speak for themselves.
Okay. What did you think about the pick?
I thought it was good as well, and I think Terrion is cute.
Oh, you think Terrion's cute?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did y'all guys watch him play this year?
Yeah,
What
I
do
like
you think about
Terrion.
him?
I like Terrion.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Cornerback's the hardest position to play, so he did pretty good.
Yeah. Have you ever met an NFL player before?
No.
Wow.
I got real close. I've been to a few football games here and there. I got close to Michael Pittman a couple years ago. I didn't have a Sharpie just like today. I keep forgetting my Sharpie.
So if you get a chance to see Terrion at the game, what would you have anything to say to him?
I might give him a hug. You kind of look like Terrion.
It's because I am.
No way! What? Oh, let me give you a hug. Oh my gosh.
That's me.
Figured.
This was a good interview. I appreciate you guys.
No problem.
Hey, nice to meet you.
You're a Packers fan. I can't dap you up.
Tim, I have a feeling if that was Kirby Joseph instead of Terrion Arnold, fans would have recognized him.
Yeah, it takes that interception, that big play in Green Bay, and those fans will recognize you for life. So his is coming, hopefully next year, and at Lambeau he picks up that first one, and then they'll recognize him then for sure.
Happy to be joined by DetroitLions.com senior writer Tim Twentyman to break down all the new Detroit Lions that came off the board, and we'll be heading to the Motor City soon. Let's start with the first rounder, number 28 overall, Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. He came in here Friday. He said, look, Ohio State didn't let me show off my pass rush, but it's there. We know he's a great run stopper, 4th best grade in FBS amongst interior defensive line last season. What does it mean that he wasn't able to show off his pass rush?
Yeah, one gap scheme there, and it was really a scheme that was generated to rush on the edge, and basically close the pocket so that their edge rushers can get closer to the quarterback, and that was their scheme, and it was an effective one. Obviously, won them a national championship. So, but I think he's right. He wasn't just able to let loose. We talked to Larry Johnson, their defensive line coach, and look, Larry's been around. I think he's had 15 guys earned first team All-American. He's had 16 guys drafted in the first round, so he knows good defensive line talent. He said he's one of the best I've ever had. And that's saying a lot coming from him. And he wasn't just saying it, I think, because of the situation and you know, the recency of the pick. He said he came to Ohio State as a 340-pound defensive lineman. Now, this was during COVID, and he was like, oh my gosh, what happened to this kid? And then he ran a 40, sub-5 with a 1.6 split. And Larry was like, yeah, okay, this kid's going to be just fine. Credit to him, he lost the weight, right? Got down closer to 320 is his playing weight. 330 was where he at, but it's the nimble feet, it's that quickness, it's that speed, it's that burst. I think in this scheme, they're going to let him play a little bit more across the line of scrimmage. I think Lions fans are going to really love that about his game. He wasn't asked to do it as much at Ohio State. He's going to be able to do it here. And he reminds me a lot about Ali McNeil when he was coming out of NC State. And Danny, what's better than having one Ali McNeil?
Two of them.
Having two Ali McNeils, right? And I think that's what you've got. And it's important, too, because we might not see Ali until, you know, mid-season, maybe coming off that ACL tear in mid-December. So I think he's got a similar skill set, and those two will be fun when they get on the field together.
Going to the round 2, right guard Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. First off, he looks like he's going to fit in just great in that O-line room. The way he talks.
The mullet it fits
iconic.
Just perfect right away. But then, like, it's that whole dirtbag mentality, right? I mean, that's his mindset. That's how he plays. When you watch him on film, he plays to the echo of the whistle, which I think somebody brought up here. It's not the whistle, it's the echo of the whistle. But he's just one of those nasty, tough, dirty, you know, will do anything he has to keep a guy off his running back and off his quarterback. And that fits that room. And just talking to him, he was so excited afterward to join guys like Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker, guys who are all pros, Pro Bowls, to learn from those guys and just be you know, one of the guys. And he's going to compete for either starting job at left or right tackle. And I think he's got a great chance to be an impact player right away here.
Detroit drafted 4 guys on the offensive side of the ball. In round 3, they picked up wide receiver Isaac TeSlaa out of Arkansas. He started at Hillsdale. His story is pretty crazy. He's a Michigan native. He wore a Lions jersey into his pick here for Brad Holmes and shocked him when he did that. He's 6'4", really made his case at the Senior Bowl. What is his best attribute?
Well, say this about him. Did Brad give up a lot to get him? Yeah,
32 spots.
Yeah, moved up 32 spots, essentially switched picks in the 3rd round, gave up 2 third-round picks, got back 2 6. That's a lot, you know, for a receiver like that. But this is what I think about him. When Brad talked about him, he said he went to the Senior Bowl and he saw him live in person at the Senior Bowl, stood out to him, said he was a pest to defenders, loved the way he caught the ball away from his body, blocked in the run game. And he said, well, okay, I seen this guy live. Now I got to go watch some tape, right? So he goes and watches some tapes, likes him even more. Has him come for a visit. You talked about the jersey. Liked him even more. So saw him in person, loved the tape, loved the pre-draft visit. Brad Holmes has hit on these a lot more than he's missed. So if he likes a player that much after doing that type of process on him, I'm going to trust in Brad Holmes, certainly till we see him on the field. And so, look, he's a big-bodied receiver with some speed. I think he can play outside. He can play in the slot. I think he offers maybe some special teams potential. Watch for the kick return. That's going to be a big part of the game back now in 2025. And so he's that guy I think can make big plays. You don't finish 5th in the SEC in average yards per reception, which he did at 19.5 yards, if you can't make plays down the field. You've already got J-Mo. I just think a guy like that, maybe you put J-Mo on one side, Amon-Ra in the slot, Sam Laporta there, and this kid on the other side. Boy, Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield, that kind of speed and ability to go over the top of the defense, I think is going to be fun to watch.
In round 5, Detroit goes and gets Miles Frazier, guard out of LSU. He was their backup tackles on both sides, played every position. He said when he comes to Detroit, if they need to line him up at center, he's going to do it. Realistically, where can he impact this O-line?
You know, they wanted competition at the guard spot. You know, they lost Kevin Zeitler in free agency, and, you know, you got Graham Glasgow coming back. And I think if anybody talked to Graham Glasgow, I think he would admit that last season probably wasn't up to his standards in that he's had his entire career. Christian Mahogany, you know, was a rookie, looked good in a couple starts, but still a young player that you've got to see play more to really, you know, generate, you know, belief that he can step in and be a starter. So now you add 2 young guys to the mix. You've got two guys that can potentially play some center too. I think they're going to cross-train them both at center. Frank's going to be 29 this year. You know, he's kind of been on a year-to-year basis now. So I think being log-jammed in there is a good thing. I mean, competition breeds success, right? And so let's get some young guys in there. Let's get some vets in there. Let's get 4 or 5 guys who compete for 2 spots and let the cream rise to the top. I think that's a good thing. If you're Dan Campbell, if you're this coaching staff, to see develop through training camp.
In the 6th round at number 196, I know in the press room while we were listening to this Zoom call from this draftee, everyone kind of was like, whoa. Ahmed Hassanian from Boise State.
What a great story.
Great story. He's from Egypt, didn't come over, came back to the United States at 16, not knowing English, didn't know what the NFL was, and he only has been playing football for about 5 years. What is his ceiling there along the edge?
Well, you look at him, he is the only defensive lineman in FBS, the only defensive lineman in SBS who had over 15 tackles for loss in each of the last 2 seasons, had 32 sacks, so he was productive for them. And look, Boise State, played some good competition. They made that run last year. He's a really productive player, and you mentioned it. He learned how to play football from his brother who played semi-pro football in Austria, YouTube videos, and Aaron Donald highlights. Wait till the Lions get him in here and they work on technique, and he gets to learn from some of the guys like Aiden Hutchinson and Mark Davenport, guys who've been doing it at a high level for quite a while here. So I think he does have a really high ceiling. I think he can give you something on special teams too. And look, Lions fans were clamoring for that edge rusher, right? They wanted one. You got one later in this draft, and you got one, I think, who's been very productive, who's got a high ceiling, and he's just going to get better and better and better. I think every week you see him in the preseason, you're going to go, wow, he's a little bit better. He's a little bit better. He's a little bit better. Where that actually ends up, the Lions hope that's a productive player that can be part of that rotation when the year begins.
Sticking with the defense, in round 7, pick number 230, Brad Holmes goes another Georgia Bulldog. Safety Dan.
How many Georgia Bulldogs are we gonna take here? Okay,
year.
we got 3.
He's a former Georgia walk-on. One of his strengths is listed as runs through receivers. That sounds like
it's Detroit. It does, doesn't it?
Right now has the highest paid safety in the NFL, in Kirby Joseph. So it's a deep room in there. Where can Jackson contribute?
Well, they have arguably the 2 best safeties in football in Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. The depth behind that, they've got some guys, converted cornerback who's Maddox, who's going to maybe play a little bit, some guys that were undrafted guys. I think they entered this draft maybe wanting to build that up a little bit. Look, like you mentioned, he's a guy who is a great story in terms of he was a walk-on, earned himself a starting role, and was a key part of that Georgia defense. He's physical. That's the first part. You talked about it. He's going to be really good in the run game, but I think he's got because of that, he's got some potential for special teams too. When you talk about those 6th, 7th round, those day 3 guys, right? Special teams is the key, because that's usually how you're going to make this roster as a late draft pick. You've got deficiencies, all those guys do on day 3, but it's those qualities that fit the team that drafts them, right? It's those kind of whether it's football IQ or some of the physical traits that just fit, and the physicality with him is the one that fits for this defense for Calvin Shepard. He's got some versatility too. He played a couple different spots. He played the high, center field. He played in the box, so he did some different things there too. But special teams, I think, is where you're going to notice him right away with that physicality. That's where I think he can make an impact.
Brad Holmes stuck with Georgia for his 2nd pick in the 7th round. Wide receiver Dominic Levitt. You talk about special teams. In fact, that's probably where we'll see him most. But it's really interesting to me that you can lead Georgia in receptions and receiving touchdowns in a season. You can be a national champion, but you fall to that 7th round, which just speaks to, how good these players are in this draft. But he seems like someone that could really contribute maybe in the receivers room at one point.
Yeah, and I think special teams is going to be first. Like we talked about, I think he's got some kick return ability. He's a legit 4.4 guy. It was 4.40 at the combine. So I think you could see him as a gunner. I think they'll put him back there in a kickoff return role. And look, he's got one of the best in the business, and I'm on Ron St. Brown to learn from. He played 85% of his snaps at Georgia in the slot. And so what better to come into a situation where you've got one of the best guys in the league. That special teams is going to be interesting there, because that receiver room's pretty full. I mean, when you talk about Tim Patrick, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra, Khalif, and I think that's the competition maybe there that you've got to watch. is Lovett going to be good enough to push Khalif for a spot? That's his opportunity to maybe get onto this roster. But special teams, I think, is going to be the spot. He's got to make his impact, and then we'll see what he does offensively after that. But make your mark on special teams. That's the key for these 6th, 7th round guys. Then you get an opportunity to play defense, offense, or whatever it is. But if you show something on special teams first, that's your ticket.
7 picks later, how would you grade this draft for Detroit?
Well, yeah, I always love rating the grades and stuff like that. You know, you give somebody an A, a B, a C, and you haven't even seen this kid on a football field yet. So I typically don't like to grade a draft until I've seen these guys in uniform with the vets. Let's see what they look like there. But look, I think it addressed some needs. I think they got some versatile guys. I think their special teams are going to be better. And then I think with the first 3 picks, I think there's some impact there immediately. So that's what you want, right? You want to try to come out of a draft with 2 or 3 starters from your first 3 picks, some impact guys, and then later some guys that can add depth, some special team impact. And I think the Lions got all that with this draft. But I think those first 3 guys in particular are going to be able to make an impact early on. So whatever grade that is, you got guys that are going to make an impact, and that's the most important thing.